I'd like to start by saying how wonderful it is that Carl Philby invited us to play at the festival in Royston in 2020. When he asked us to do this concert, we thought, yeah, that's going to be easy, but it's not, is it really, with social distancing and all that's going on? So we put our heads together, and I think we've come up with quite a novel way of doing it for you, and I hope you enjoy it.
This tune was written in this town by Brian quite a few years ago when he lived here. And he tells me it was written in his front room. And to me, the name, Light Tide, would suggest sort of something coastal or, and a nice sort of sunny day as the tide comes in, and it's a beautiful sort of tranquil thing. But apparently not. What it is if you can imagine Brian sitting in his front room with a chink in the curtains in the morning, with the light coming through those curtains, and in that sunlight that was coming through the curtains, there were those particles, those little dust particles that you can see and that catch the light and dance around. And that is the light tide that this tune was named after. If any of you are familiar with Brian's previous band called Strange World, you may recognise this tune because it was performed by them. In actual fact, I'd also performed it many years ago and knew it of old. So it is a favourite tune, and today we're going to play the Tin Giants version of Light Tide.
song is Ami La Beauté, which roughly translated is Love of the Bottle, or I Love the Bottle. And it's a song I found from a band called La Boutine Souriant, who are a fantastic Quebecois band from Canada. And I'd like to pass you over to Duncan.
Thanks, Penny. This next tune is called Hill Cottage. I wrote it a while ago. It's called Hill Cottage because it was written mostly in Hill Cottage. Hill Cottage is a lovely detached, really old 16th century place in Swaff and Bulbeck, just outside Cambridge. I used to live in Cambridge. I used to visit there quite a lot because a very close friend of mine, Mike Gilpin, lived there, making hurdy-gurdies and wonderful instruments. And Mike, an excellent hurdy-gurdy player as well, taught me loads. Because of his failing health, he had to give up making and playing. So that's enormously missed. But anyway, this is in celebration and very fond memories of some fantastic weekends staying in Hill Cottage with Mike and his wife and their chickens, sitting outside, playing tunes, tweaking hurdy-gurdy, Mike coming out telling me whether I could make some adjustments to my instrument, telling me off for me getting it wrong, which seemed to be all the time because he's a better player than me. So here we are, Hill Cottage.
J'aimais la beauté, moi j'aimais la beauté. 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 Moi c'est mon bonbon, ami de la beauté, l'aime et le bonbon. Il a toujours un nom à son pareil. Les soirées le matin, il crie à l'oreille. J'aimais la beauté, moi j'aimais la beauté. 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 Et tout ce qui est un garçon qui sont vraiment les filles, qui se sont des fous. Et moi juste disons qu'ils cherchent l'avantage. Et trouver ça je me donne.
This next tune is, well, it's a tune with two names really. When it was first written, it was called Aaron's Farewell, but recently it's been used in a film as the theme music for a film called Waterlight. And there's not much else to say about it really, so I hope you enjoy it.
This next song is just performed by myself and Brian. It's called Georgie and was collected in 1907 by Ralph Vaughan Williams in Falmere, and the lyrics were also collected in 1907 in Fen Ditton. I heard the song first up in the northeast where it's known as Geordie, but down here Mary Humphreys collected a lot of songs and put them in a book that were collected by Vaughan Williams in Cambridgeshire. So we hope you enjoy it.
As I walked over London Bridge one midsummer morning early, oh, there I spied a fair pretty maid lamenting for her Georgie. My Georgie never stole nor house nor land, nor have he murdered any, but he stole 6 of the king's royal deer and sold them in Fencaney. Go saddle me my milk-white steed, go bridle me my pony, that I might ride to the good Lord Judge and plead for the life of Georgie. Now when she arrived at the Redshire Hall, where people there were many, down on her bended knees did fall, crying, spare me the life of Georgie. The judge looked o'er his left shoulder, he saw her grief and misery. He said, young woman, you are too late, for he's condemned already. She turned her heavy eyes around and fixed them upon Georgie. If you've confessed, then die you must. May the Lord have mercy on you. My Georgie shall be hung in chains of gold. Such chains there are not many, because he comes from royal blood and married a royal lady. My Georgie shall be buried in a coffin of gold, such a coffin there ne'er was any, and on his tombstone shall be wrought, he long won the heart of a lady. I wish I were on yonder hill, where oft times I've been many, with a sword and pistol in my hand, I'd fight for the life of Georgie. I wish I were on yonder hill, where oft times I've been many, with a sword and pistol in my hand, I'd fight for the life of Georgie.
This next set of tunes is pretty special to me, and I think to all of us as a band, because it's one of the first ones that we ever played when we got together, having had a couple of exchanges by phone and by email, and thinking it would be a good idea to just get together for a little while and have a play and see what happened, and see whether we felt that we wanted to play music together on a regular basis and form a band. I'm sure that most of you will know that feeling when you have arranged to reconnect with people who you haven't seen for a long time, but who've been pretty special to you in the past, who you've been close to, almost like family, but then time and other stuff gets in the way of it and you drift apart. And it sort of fosters a mixture of, I think, excitement, but a bit of apprehension and anxiety too. And that's certainly how I felt when I walked into the room and reconnected with these guys for the first time in a long time. And I think they probably felt a bit the same way as well. I mean, I knew Brian and Duncan from being bandmates with them in Shave the Monkey, and I knew Penny from those days as well. And Cam I hadn't met before, and then later on we connected with Glyn, who then completes the lineup that you see in front of you today. So yeah, but on this day it was all just let's give this a bit of a try and see what it brings. So there we were, and it felt great. We were really in a good place. It was lovely to meet up again, and we all seemed to feel relaxed, and we got our instruments out and we started to play some music. And among the things that we played was this tune. It was a new one for me, but it was called Corsican Waltz. So for me, it was always going to be a winner because Corsica is one of my favourite places in the world. But it also happens to be a beautiful tune. And so there we were, we learnt it, we had a play around with it, and just did a bit of exploration to see what we could make of it. And suddenly it just all started to feel good and to feel right. And we all enjoyed listening to each other, listening to what each person was doing with it and how that was starting to slot together to make something that we could do something with. So that was a really exciting moment. And along with that excitement, that sort of great feeling of well-being that music can bring you gave us a real moment of good karma, which is fantastic and which we all need so much of. I mean, particularly this year because it's been so strange. I think we need all the good karma we can get. So I hope that when we play this tune for you, a little bit of that comes your way, because that's something we really hope we can share with you. The second tune in the set comes from a tradition which is another favourite of ours, which is the tradition of French folk music. We love it because its modality, it can be exciting, and it's a very emotional kind of feel to it as well very often. It also fits very well with some of the instruments that we play, particularly Dunk with the pipes and the hurdy-gurdy. So it's another favourite kind that takes the tempo up a bit, and it's called Boîte à bois, which translates as the wooden box. Obviously there are many different types of wooden boxes. Rather than going for the macabre end of that range of stuff, I'd prefer to think of it as a bit more of a box of treasures, but make of it with what you will. I hope you enjoy it.
The next song's a song I wrote some years ago called Lockkeeper. It's a true story with some quite horrific parts in it, but so every now and again you hear a true story that definitely warrants a song, and this is one of them.
Locked him away, he broken the cell, smashed down the walls, escaping from his hell. Though Tavis subdued him, he's still insane. Lockkeeper said he'd do it all again, and like there was behind his simple eyes the strength of 20 in his hands. The day he lasted and broke the storm was the day of family change. Why didn't he die? 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 Why?
next track is a tune I wrote about a year ago, introduced it to the band at rehearsals, in having driven up from my home in Somerset to Suffolk for another lovely weekend of rehearsals. Played them this tune, they seemed to like it, seemed to vamp it up, which is always great. Problem being is I don't really have a name for it, and I've been spending a year trying to work out a good name. It's a kind of a French dance called a Scottish, but a bit fast and a bit kind of aggressive, I think. Just how I like it. And the name I chose at the moment is called In Good, and that's nicked from a song by the amazing Sid Kipper, who wrote a song called Norfolk and Good. If you say that fast, you'll see his very rude humour. So because it was delivered to Suffolk, I've just called it Suffolk in Good. But if you can think of a better name, you're really welcome to let me know. So it's a typical sort of fast hurdy-gurdy D minor heavy tune. Hope you like it.
Thanks, Duncan. The second part of this tune set is called Berserk. It used to have another name, but decided to rename it for various reasons. Hope you enjoy it. So that's it, Tin Giants in concert. A very special concert for Royston, done in a very special way. We'd like to leave you with Fran and Penny and a couple of loop pedals. This is a song called Crown of Thorns, and it's something very different and something the band's working on for a full band arrangement eventually. So stay safe, and we hope to see you very soon in a proper concert venue. Thank you very much.
J'ai des épines, ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai un épine, ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai 8 épines, ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai 7 épines à ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai 6 épines à ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai 5 épines à ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai 4 épines à ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai 3 épines à ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai 2 épines à ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. J'ai une épine à ma couronne, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, la fleur de, la fleur de, la fleur de jeunesse s'envole, 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 la fleur de jeunesse s'envole. Et vous, mon papa, que disait votre